The Chao Garden is one of the most loved side modes in the history of gaming. Despite this, Sega has neglected the Chao Garden for far too long. Luckily, the fanbase has our backs though. There are many different developers who have created their own fan-made versions of the Chao Garden. Sonic fan games often range quite a lot in quality. While there are some gems out there, there are also some not so great games. Today we are fully embracing the fan game experience and are going to try every Chao Garden fan game that I can get my hands on. Up first, we got Chao Resort Island. This game is essentially a fan-made 2D version of the Chao Garden. It has many modern quality of life improvements and has a very cute, well thought out design and interface.
Don't worry, buddy.
Many of the sound effects and sprites are ripped straight from actual Sonic games, which helps make this one feel a lot like an official Sonic game. Chao Resort Island uses a lot of things that are in the tiny Chao Garden, but improves them exponentially. They also added a bunch of other awesome features too. Your Chao in this game can do most things that you can do in Sonic Adventure 2. They can evolve, breed with other Chao, reincarnate, sleep, and many other things from the official games. You can raise your Chao with multiple different characters, and there's quite a lot of items to unlock and goals to work towards. There are 3 new gardens to raise your Chao in, each with their own interesting and unique design. You also can decorate and customize your garden to give your own personal flair to your Chao's home. Being able to move trees and other items is really cool. This is an awesome feature and something that Sonic Adventure 2 really could have benefited from. The black market has many new accessories and fruits that you can buy in the shop. Many that aren't in the official Chao Gardens, but still fit the overall Chao theme. The main ways to raise your Chao's stats is by feeding them fruits from the shop or by entering them in races. These races are fairly simple in design, but do have some charm to them. They can feel a bit repetitive after a while, as to advance quickly in the game, you kinda need to grind them out. They raise your Chao's stats and get you money for the shop, but they are not exactly the most dynamic or exciting. There are also little minigames for your Chao to play as well, which can spice up the experience a bit, but they often get old pretty quickly, just like the tiny Chao Garden minigames in Sonic Advance. There aren't as many animations or cute actions for your Chao, but you can still care for them in pretty much the same way you do in other official versions of the Chao Garden, which is awesome. I highly recommend this to anyone who's looking for a new Chao Garden experience. This game is designed really well, is cute, and frankly is just about as good as the real Chao Garden. It doesn't have nearly the same replayability due to not having actual stages like in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, but this game still is a fun game to play. I've put way more time into this than the actual Tiny Chao Garden by Sega. This is just way better. It is also very easy to set up and play, and even has controller support too. Speaking of controller support, I needed a controller to play this next one.
Exedra Chao Combat.
Exedra Chao Combat 2D is a Chao Garden fighting game. Yeah, someone actually made a full-on fighting game featuring only Chao. This game was never fully finished by its developer, but is playable. The game actually seems to have a surprising amount of depth to it, with many different moves for you to use and a large character roster to choose from as well. The Chao even have their own intro and finishing voice lines.
And that is how it's done.
You lose.
Speed is my domain.
You lose.
The battle is over. Farewell.
You lose.
I think they were mostly voiced by the creator, which honestly makes it kind of funny since they all sound really similar and they don't sound anything like Chao. I played a handful of rounds here and I could not win a single game. Even after watching a video tutorial and reading the guide included the files, I could not beat any of these Chao. At least until I played as Simison.
This is Simison. Place the records of this fight on my desk.
You win.
Simison has an amazing envelope attack that helps me to finish the arcade mode in one go. I think he's got to be a top tier character. The AI Chao in this game are cracked. These Chao have got some wild moves or are just full on flying around the screen, kicking the shit out of me at times. Every so often I would get lucky and they would just run into my projectile for a little while, but that didn't happen too often. I did eventually start to get a bit better after some game time, but I must warn you, this game is quite hard to pick up and play. There definitely is something here though. This game clearly has been pretty well thought out and does feature lots of cool arenas for your Chao to fight in. Most of them are based on Sonic locations, with some being from non-Chao Garden games like Sonic Heroes. They all featured some good Sonic songs too. I'd recommend this to someone who's really looking for a Chao Garden 2D fighter. This game does have some depth to it and is actually pretty fun once you aren't getting wrecked by the AI. At the time of recording, I don't think this game gets a whole lot of playtime from anyone. The creator themselves has given up on development for the time being, and I couldn't really find much info about this game online. This one's definitely a unique experience. I recommend you check it out. The next game we got stands out, as it is the only mobile Chao Garden game I could find. This one is the Pocket Chao Garden, and it is essentially the tiny Chao Garden but on a phone. Also, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but for anyone who doesn't know, the Tiny Chao Garden is a small mini version of the Chao Garden that is available on the Game Boy Advance through any of the Sonic Advance games or by plugging in your Game Boy to your GameCube. It is extremely simple, but it is the closest thing we have to an official Chao mobile game. In Pocket Chao Garden, there are a handful of minigames to play to get rings, which you can then use to feed your Chao food. You can also pet and pick them up by using your touchscreen. Honestly, I don't got a whole lot else to say about this one. It is pretty much just the Tiny Chao Garden, but on a phone. This was really well done and honestly feels like it could be an official Sega mobile game. While it does lack much for content, it does have everything the Tiny Chao Garden did and more. I still think Sega is missing a huge opportunity by not developing their own mobile version of the Chao Garden. BillehBawb did a great job designing this one, and I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to raise Chao on the go. But I can't help but wonder what Sega could do with their own mobile Chao Garden. A fully funded, proper team from Sega could probably develop an amazing game. Something closer to Chao Resort Island than the Tiny Chao Garden. It would likely make Sega so much money. I seriously don't understand why they haven't done this yet. For now, this game should satisfy most fans who want a Chao Garden mobile game, but I do have one important thing to mention. This game is unfortunately only available on Android. Sorry, Apple users. This here is the Chao Garden within the Sonic World DX fan game. There's actually a lot more to this game than just the Chao Garden mode. This game has lots of different levels to play, but that's not the main focus here. This Sonic World mode brought back many Chao Gardens from the past to raise your Chao in, and also gives you the ability to play as many different characters. You can raise your Chao stats by giving them Chaos Drives from stages in-game, or by feeding them food from the black market. This Chao Garden is honestly pretty similar to Chao Resort Island, except it does have fewer quality of life improvements, and doesn't have nearly the same charm. I think it would help a lot if the Chao had more life to them. I don't know if it's just the model they used or the animations, but I don't feel anywhere near as connected to these Chao as I do to the ones in Chao Resort Island or in Sonic Adventure 2. This Chao Garden mode is pretty fun, and the addition of actual stages in-game does give it replayability that Chao Resort Island lacks, but I do think there's a lot less charm put into this one. The design just doesn't have the same appeal that something like Chao Resort Island does. This is likely due to the lower level 3D graphics and animations for the Chao. Chao Resort Island does a really good job with feeling like an official game, whereas Sonic World doesn't really do a good job in that regard. At least for the Chao Garden anyways. To be fair though, it is likely much harder to make a 3D game feel official compared to a 2D game. Still, great job to the developers here. I believe this game is still in active development, so it is possible more will be added to this in the future. This one's still worth checking out as it's a lot of fun, but I do think it lacks some of the replayability of the other games. Having levels is really cool, but I think the Chao Garden mode itself just kind of lacks content overall compared to Chao Resort Island. Next up, we got Roblox. Roblox is filled with a ton of Sonic fan games, and thankfully the Chao Garden was not forgotten about. This game developed by yelrahdivad? I got no idea how to properly pronounce that, but this game developed by them was the only one I could actually find for the Chao Garden on Roblox. I'm pretty sure there were other ones in the past, but they must have gotten deleted or something. Anyways though, this game is unique. There's a Chao Garden, and there are Chao, but I don't really know what else there is to do. If you walk up to this Chao machine here, you can actually get yourself stuck inside. If you try to go to the Dark Garden, you can fall into a pit instead of actually going to the garden. And for some reason the Hero Garden is full of snow. All of the Chao look very lifeless and kind of just glide along the ground as if they're possessed or robots or something. This game is definitely interesting to check out for a quick look, but I really wouldn't recommend this one to anyone. I'm not sure if the creator had more planned and gave up, or if they just genuinely wanted this to be the final product. Ultimately though, this one's called the Chao Garden on Roblox, but I don't even know if there's Chao here. I don't know what these are. What are these things? They're just freaking me out. Well, I think that's enough Chao fan games for me in one day. Thankfully that was also the last game I could find, but here are some other fan projects that I think you should check out. First is the Pikmin 3 Chaomin Mod. This one looks fantastic. I really want to play it one day, but have not been able to successfully mod my Switch, which you need to do in order to play it. Great stuff here though from Gimmicking. Also, Mindocko's created a really cool character skin pack for SRB2 Kart that adds Chao to the game. It isn't necessarily a full-on Chao fan game, but it's still a really well done Chao fan project, and I recommend this to anyone interested in Chao kart racing. I actually streamed this not too long ago. It's a lot of fun. And that's about all I could find for finished Chao fan projects. If there are any I missed, please let me and other viewers know in the comments section. Also, all of these are entirely free to play, by the way. None of them cost anything, so make sure to check some of them out. I included download links and information on each one mentioned in the description. Thank you everyone who clicked the like button. It helps the channel a lot. I hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for watching. Have a good one.